Read Global Truth.
They working against us. They hate our souls. They hate us. They hate our righteous indignation. They hate the exhortation that dwells in us. They hate our love. They hate our conviction. They hate the fact that we repentant. They hate the fact that we truthful, honest, and bold. They hate our courage. Them devils hate us. We're not finna line ourselves up with these weirdos and freaks. With these weirdos and freaks. They working against us. They hate our souls. Weirdos and freaks. But these weirdos and freaks, they working against us. They hate our souls. New breed.
What up? What up? What up? What up? What's going on, everybody? I see you brothers and sisters rolling in the chat pretty quick. Peace and blessings to everybody. Coach C is in the building. I see Cruz Wavy. Laura Lee is in the building. All right, Abigail. Healing Frequencies in the building. Sharon Linton. Peace and blessings to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for a real eye-opener. I stumbled across a real interesting video that revealed a lot of what we already expected. Eddy Griffin finally posted, and his post wasn't just a run-of-the-mill, basic post when it comes to the loss of Malcom Jamal Warner. Now, I know the debate right now seems to be about Hulk Hogan and if black people should be mourning over Hulk Hogan, because the Black America is basically spoken, and they saying, hey, they're not going to be mourning Hulk Hogan. All right. And, you got a lot of Sambos popping out of the woodworks, doing what it is they do, cooning, buffooning. Now, the reason why a lot of black people decided not to support or mourn, rather, it's not even about support, it's about mourning. Why black people decided not to mourn Hulk Hogan is because the man was a racist. Even after he was brought back to the Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame, after getting caught red-handed, firing off the N-word like it was nobody's business. Right after that, y'all remember the situation where he fired the black model, hired a bunch of white girls. He showed he was racist. So it is what it is. And see, this is what the Sambos like to do. They like to push, they like to change the narrative, push the envelope, or push the narrative, keep moving the goalposts. That's what they do. Move the goalposts. Listen, you can't get mad because black folks don't want to mourn him. It's not about disrespecting him in his grave or whatever the case is. It's not about disrespecting the dead. It's about black people coming together saying, hey, are we mourning this guy? See, foundational black Americans are delineating now. And we're not crying for white nationalists. So they're moving the envelope as if we're disrespecting Hulk Hogan by delineating whether or not we want to mourn him. And we don't want to mourn him. There's nothing you could do about that. If you was a Hulkamaniac, if you dirty MAGA, it is what it is. It's like they try to force us to mourn someone. No. And meanwhile, the death of Malcom Jamal Warner is really what should be talked about. But Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne kicking the bucket actually sullied our investigation somewhat, because it seems to be something more ominous going on with the death of Malcom Jamal Warner. All right. And listen, let me put this out here. I see a lot of religious folks saying that Hulk Hogan gave his life to Jesus. My question is, which Jesus? Which Jesus? Because the Jesus I read about had skin of bronze, burnished bronze, and hair of wool. And the Bible also tells us, he who remembers Christ as the scriptures have read should have everlasting life. Did he believe in Caesar Borgia, or did he believe in the real Messiah? Because I can assure you, racists like Hulk Hogan, they not fitting to worship the true image of Christ, which was a black man, by the way. You see, and this is the thing about Southern Baptist white people. These are the same people who went to church on Sunday and have picnics. They had postcards and watch Negroes swinging from trees right after leaving Sunday service. It's those type of Christians that have the world fooled. Everybody thought Donald Trump was a Christian. Why? Because you got white nationalists disguised as Christians. And we can see right through that. Right? We can see right through that. So we're not mourning for Hulk Hogan. If you want to mourn for him, if you want to go, put on your Hulkamaniac shirts and go out here and do what you want to do it. You might as well do it with a MAGA hat on too. Like, that's your life. You're not, listen, this is the problem. A bunch of Sambos want to guilt trip foundational black Americans because we don't want to mourn someone. No, we don't care. Yeah, we don't care. We don't care. It is what it is. And I'm glad to see my people not caring and not bending to the peer pressure that's coming. That ain't even our peers. They're not bending to what society wants, how society wants us to act. Now, I came across this very interesting interview with Malcom Jamal Warner, and it's with Eddie Griffin, his post, but this video is very interesting. And I want to go ahead with no further ado. Eddie Griffin is the truth. Eddie Griffin, he not only said that Malcom Jamal Warner was at war with the industry, but check this, y'all, peep this. They were at war about our image. And I'm going to tell you this right now, ladies and gentlemen, Malcom Jamal Warner was not for sale. Hashtag not for sale in the chat. Malcom Jamal Warner was not for sale. He was against everything the industry was doing. And we're going to roll it out. And I know, just as well as you all know, that This more than likely contributed to his untimely demise because the industry is wicked and barbaric. I see the hashtags not for sale. Now, let us proceed.
I did not know this.
Yeah. Like we didn't get, but every single week before taping, we'd come together, we'd put our hands together, we'd bow, and we'd pray before we go out there.
Two warriors who couldn't stand each other, praying together before battle. Every week for 4 years, Malcom Jamal Warner and Eddy Griffin put aside their personal differences to fight a war most people didn't even know was happening.
There is a systematic effort to destroy every black male entertainer's image.
And this is why we are the image reclamation movement. Because Malcom Jamal Warner, as well as Eddy Griffin, they were fighting to substantiate a righteous image while being in the industry. And that is a threat. Why? Because they always want a negative stereotype or stigmatism connected to our people. And this is why moving forward, we're claiming that we're not for sale. You can no longer take our image and use it however you want in exploitation. Now, let's continue.
They want us all to have an actress by our name.
For over a decade, Eddy Griffin has been screaming about Hollywood's war against black men who refuse to submit.
Whatever happened to integrity, man, huh? How many brothers got to wear?
Eddy exposed the systematic emasculation program, but nothing he predicted could have prepared him for what happened to his former co-star on July 20th, 2025.
The actor Malcom Jamal Warner, widely known for starring in the hit TV sitcom The Cosby Show, has died.
When Eddy Griffin heard his old co-star was dead, he didn't post some generic RIP message. He dropped a...
Now, this message right here is going to speak a whole lot of volumes, ladies and gentlemen. And this is exactly what we've been discussing over here on this platform, right? What he's about to drop is a nuke. Let's go.
Bombshell on Instagram that exposed exactly what killed Malcom Jamal Warner.
The actor Malcom Jamal Warner, widely known for starring in the hit TV sitcom The Cosby Show, has died.
He wrote, "My heart is heavy today, for what the world lost was a father, a son, a poet, a musician, an actor, a teacher, a writer, a director, a friend, a warrior that I had the pleasure of going to war with against the Hollywood machine, and sometimes..."
Now, he said he had the pleasure of going to war with the Hollywood machine. Ladies and gentlemen, Malcom Jamal Warner went to war with the Hollywood machine all the way up to his final day. All the way to 54 years old, he was going to war. He was educating our people on our lineage. Malcom Jamal Warner was FBA. Malcom Jamal Warner fought for our image, and he was giving us history lessons on all the good revolutionaries and martyrs. And he was doing it through spoken word. He was doing it through motivational speeches. And after having director's credits, acting credits, and not having an asterisk by his name, by remaining clean, contrary to the doings of Hollywood, he was a threat. Malcom Jamal Warner was a threat. And ladies and gentlemen, the industry was at war with him, and he was at war with the industry. Let's continue.
With each other because that's what brothers do, but the love was and is always there. Eddy didn't say they worked in Hollywood. He said they went to war against it. That's not the language you use for show business disputes. That's military.
And see, and that's what we all about. We going to war right now with the entire industry, with the whole system. When we talk about this race war, it's being fought in ways that we can't imagine. And it's time for us to actually stand up, speak out, and fight. See, Eddie Griffin and Malcom Jamal Warner, they was calling this a war, ladies and gentlemen. They wasn't playing about this. They called it a war. And if you look up right now, they're taking AI, destroying our image. And they got coins connected to it. They got cryptocurrency connected to the AI images that degrade our people. I need you brothers and sisters to understand that we have to carry on the work that Malcolm was putting in. We have to continue our efforts. And that's what we're doing with the image reclamation movement. Don't let that brother's life go in vain, because he did not compromise. And they knew it was a war. They knew it was a war. They was fighting for our image. Malcolm wasn't for sale.
Military terminology. That's what you say when someone dies fighting an enemy. The war started during...
In case y'all wonder what I'm talking about when I talk about the AI, just so I'm clear, the AI is showing our people in the most deplorable ways possible, right? They got AI of our women looking like gorillas with wigs on their heads. They got our people eating chicken with the smoke coming off of it, eating a bone. They got ghetto depictions, ratchet depictions, everything that they curated. Negative stereotypes that they curated about us. And then they're pushing that, right? And they're putting cryptocurrency behind it. Why? They're trying to make generational wealth off of our image. And it is disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. And we have to fight that. We have to speak out. We have to be bold about, look, no more destruction of our image. Because a lot of people who are behind this are non-Black creators. Non-Black people are creating these negative stigmatisms. But anyway, let's continue.
Bring Malcolm and Eddie. Both men thought they were getting a platform to create positive Black entertainment. Instead, they walked into a battlefield where every script was a fight. Every episode was resistance against a system designed to make them perform like trained monkeys.
So it was, for me, it was like going from a top university to junior college. Because I'm saying, look, we can actually be funny without doing the stereotypical stuff.
Right. See, he was fighting against being stereotypical. Imagine every show of Malcolm and Eddie, there was a script handed down. And those guys had to put their heads together, although they didn't get along, which speaks volumes in itself. Because we have an issue with that nowadays. We might not get along with each other, but it's certain things that we have to come to agreement on when it comes to our image as a whole. And that means just because somebody may have a different religious belief than I, just because someone may have a difference of opinion than I, that does not mean I cannot build with that person if they have the same understanding that our image is on the line. And Malcolm and Eddie put their differences to the side, and they created a very successful, entertaining TV series. I loved the Malcolm and Eddie show. It was great. So it just goes to show we don't have to sell ourselves. We don't have to bojangle. See, a lot of people that they promote and push in the forefront is these damn caricatures that are straight out of the damn minstrel show. You got 607 Unk. What the hell is that? A bumbling idiot, a fool. They give us our Charleston Whites and 607 Unks, and they give us our Orlando Browns and all of that. Now, of course, they may be right about certain things they say, but their image represents bumbling fools, idiots, maniacs. So even if they're saying something that's truthful, it can't be taken serious. That's what they want to push, right? Anyway, let's continue.
And no one was really interested in that route. They're like, we didn't bring you over here for that. This is what we do.
Malcolm wasn't describing creative differences. He was describing psychological warfare. They took America's favorite TV son and tried to force him to degrade himself for their entertainment.
Yep. He's talking about psychological warfare. Why? Because when they make our image something that is deplorable, that affects the generation to come. Why? Because those are our influencers. Those are our influencers. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, this still goes on today. The psychological warfare is very real. And it affects every facet of our existence, is what I'm trying to describe to y'all. How we think about ourselves, how we think about other people, and how other people see us. Yes, Malcolm was standing in the gap. Facts.
When he refused, the machine turned against him.
Even though we were at odds, what we both understood is we get to 100 episodes, we're going to have a sweet vacation. Ultimately, they cut us at 88 because they were tired. They were tired of me fighting with the writers, and then they were tired of Eddy's shenanigans.
So they was going to get a big payoff if they can complete the sitcom. They cut it short on purpose, right? And look, he's rocking the Malcolm X shirt right there. And imagine this man was fighting every single script to make sure it was no cooning and buffooning. There's more than one way to fight. And all heroes are not wearing capes. And I'm pretty sure that Malcolm would be proud of the image reclamation movement. I'm sure he would be proud of us, of a generation rocking I'm not for sale shirts. Because in his generation, coming from the 80s on, viewing, everything, seeing everything he's seen within the industry, I know he's seen plenty of people sell out. I know he's seen plenty of people bojangling and samboing for these folks. I'm pretty sure he's seen plenty of folks that had a price tag on their ass. But he said, no, I'm not for sale. Matter of fact, on the contrary, I'm finna fight for our image. Let's go.
88 episodes, just 12 away from generational wealth through syndication. They killed the show because
he was 12 episodes away from generational wealth through syndication. I told y'all at the beginning of this, they was afraid of Malcom Jamal wanting passing down generational wealth. Why? Why? Well, it's simple. Because the industry is all about siphoning energy back into it. They want you to sacrifice your children to the industry. Malcolm kept his children and his child and wife private from the industry. And I'm pretty sure that he ended up making that generational wealth because he has a lot of credits. And he was working ever since last year. I mean, up to last year. So better believe that those people was coming for him. And I truly believe they took Malcom Jamal Warner out because of this. We've been told nothing but lies about his death. All they gave us was a CIA crisis actor telling stories about doctors trying to resuscitate him that happened to be on the beach. Stories of surfers catching waves and trying to save him, and they saved his daughter, and this happened and that happened. It all sounds like lies, and it's nowhere close to the initial story that we were told. Keep in mind, the initial story we were told about Malcom Jamal Warner's passing was that he went swimming early in the morning before the sun came up and the current swept them away. But you go on entertainment television, Entertainment Tonight, they're making up all these stories with no witnesses to speak out. But if you look at the regular news, those stories don't match what's being aired on the regular news. Why? Because even in this man's passing, they're making money off of a script. That's how wicked Hollywood is. We need to be coming up with our own industries. We need to be using our own talents, our own gifts, and stop letting these people own us, own our likeness in all perpetuity. Let's go.
Malcolm and Eddy wouldn't stay in their place. The machine doesn't just control your image, it controls your money, your future, your ability to build independent wealth. That's when both men learned the rules of engagement. You can fight, but you can't win. You can resist, but there's always a bigger weapon they can deploy. And if you become too dangerous, if you start exposing too much truth, the machine has a final solution. Eddy Griffin has been screaming about Hollywood's systematic destruction of black men for over a decade. His comedy specials weren't just jokes, they were intelligence reports from inside the war zone.
That's a fact. Eddy Griffin has a couple bangers, man. He has a couple bangers, and he drops a lot of nuggets. Now, do I believe or do I agree with all Eddy Griffin's shenanigans and tactics? No, I don't. Do I agree with his belief system? Because I believe he follows Egyptology. No, I don't. But Eddy Griffin is FBA. He knows about the FBA experience. And Eddy Griffin was socially aware and very conscious. We got to get our own personal religious beliefs and thoughts out of the way. This is why I have become what you would call an Israelite FBA hybrid. Why? Because I understand the importance of building bridges opposed to, contention creating and arguing over trivial disagreements. If Eddy Griffin and Malcom Jamal Warner were able to put their differences to the side, why is it that we have a problem doing that with our brothers and sisters who may have different beliefs or was raised up differently? If our common ground is to make sure that there's betterment for our people, then we should stick to that. That's the baseline right there. That's the foundation right there. Anyway, let's continue.
This was Eddy exposing the systematic emasculation of black men in Hollywood. Every major black male star has worn a dress on screen. It's not coincidence, it's conditioning.
Yep.
Break down their masculinity, make them perform degradation, then reward them with money and fame. But Eddy's most chilling prediction came when he talked about Bill Cosby. Years before the allegations went mainstream, Eddy was warning that no black entertainer gets to leave Hollywood with their dignity intact.
Now, Eddy warned, and it's the same warning that I gave days ago when I found out that Malcom Jamal Warner passed on. I said, they don't let you walk away with $15-20 million and ride off to the sunset and have generational wealth. No, the industry don't let you just walk away. And I said the exact same thing, y'all. And I believe that it's something more nefarious at play when it comes to what happened to Eddy. Because the industry lost the war when it came to Eddy. They wasn't just going to let that go.
Eddy wasn't making predictions. He was reading the playbook.
When it comes to Eddy and Malcolm, but let's go.
Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. Every black man who achieved independent power and influence.
Yo, I remember when my pops was living when I was a kid. That very same photo of Michael Jordan was in one of my uncle's basement. And you know what my dad did? He looked at me. He said, "Son, you see that right there?" He was like, "You know who that is?" I was like, Yeah, that's Michael Jordan. He said, that's God in that man. I didn't know what he was saying. I'm like, what? He was like, all of us got God in us. Our people, we're very close to God. When you see their talents and the great things they could do, it's because we close to God. I never forgot what my pops told me. That's the same photo right there. I just thought I'd share that with y'all because that shaped, at that very early stage, that shaped my mind frame to how I think of my people. And it's true. We are in the image of the Most High. We're the most athletic. We're the most talented. We're the most captivating. We're the most intriguing. Why? Because we're the salt of the earth. Because we are the children of Israel, the Most High, the Bible speaks of. The salt of the earth. So without us, ain't no seasoning on this earth. Don't never let them tell us we ain't great when the whole world wants to be us, but they hate us at the same time. Yeah, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, greats. Bill Cosby, a great. Bill Cosby is innocent of all those charges. Bill Cosby's innocent, and they still want him to, at his old age, wear that stain of grapeism. He didn't do that. That's why they let him out. But anyway, let's go.
Got hit with career-destroying scandals. The timing is never accidental.
Reason number one, why they came after Bill Cosby.
If a black man does something, it says, John Jones, blacklist, said black, black, black. Now, if a white man does it, it isn't white man Jones. It's just a man.
Eddy was exposing the media manipulation that creates different rules for black and white celebrities. When white stars...
Did you know that nearly half of US TV streaming time is on Roku? With Roku's new self-service ad tool, it's easy to set up your own...
face scandals, they're individuals. When black stars face the same issues, they become proof of racial stereotypes.
Exactly. And Bill Cosby was dropping truth nuggets on that a while ago. I seen a whole lot of clips of him discussing that. And look, I'm going to tell y'all like this. Malcom Jamal Warner had some great men of stature around him. I watched so many interviews of Malcom Jamal Warner describing his father and how when it was summer break, his dad would make him write essays about various black historians, various black martyrs and revolutionaries. And Malcolm said, man, I hated it. He's like, I just wanted to go outside and play. I didn't understand why my dad was doing it until he made it into the industry. He understood that his father was training him. You got to train these young men and let them know you're born into a war. You're born into a war. Let your sons and daughters know about their legacy, about where they came from. Because if you let the masses raise them, if you let the media raise them, they're going to be confused. They're going to believe the stereotypes that are perpetuated. Sister 1973, thank you. She says, speak that truth to the masses, new breed. Not hashtag not for sale. Absolutely.
This psychological warfare was designed to keep black entertainers compliant through fear. But Malcom Jamal Warner stopped being afraid. And that's when the machine moved to its final phase. Something changed in Malcom Jamal Warner during his final year. The man who had carefully navigated Hollywood politics for decades started speaking truth to power with reckless abandon. His Instagram became a weapon of war against the psychological programming Eddy had been exposing.
I am tired of running for shade. And aren't you tired of being hustled and played? And aren't we all tired of crying about how hard it is to be black in America, even if it looks like we've got it made?
This wasn't poetry.
Yep, he was doing it in poetry and spoken word. And that's always been a useful tool for us through our creative expression. But the industry was watching. They was watching, y'all. They was looking at what Malcolm was saying online. I watched one interview, not even an interview, it was a post where Malcolm addressed the fact that we're in a race war. He addressed it. And he was talking about how a lot of white people want to help us, but don't know how. And he talked about how certain white people will come up to him and say, you know, Malcolm, how can we help you? How can we help y'all? Because remember, the Bible says that even the Gentiles will come to us and say, surely our fathers have inherited lies. And they will want to know how they can help. And Malcolm said, look, the way you can help is go back and think about how you can help. And that's such a solid answer. And the reason he said that is because if you want to help all my Gentile brothers and sisters, you would know how to help. You would look at what's going on, and you wouldn't even have to ask us, how do we help? You know what's going on. You know that the wicked are bearing rule and the people are mourning. And the Bible says, when the righteous bear rule, the people shall rejoice. You know how to help us if you really wanted to help us. That's just the truth. So Malcolm answered them like Malcolm X would have answered, to show you how studied the brother was. Right? Let's go.
This was Malcolm directly calling out the systematic programming of Black Americans. The music we're programmed to celebrate. He was exposing how the entertainment industry deliberately promotes degrading content to condition Black audiences.
Or things you didn't know about TapStitch.
Yo, Malcom Jamal Warner was image reclamation. He was in it. He was hashtag not for sale.
Traits placed upon them by their captors. He was naming the puppet masters who control the narrative. The timing couldn't have been worse for Hollywood, with Diddy facing federal charges, with Jeffrey Epstein connections finally being exposed, with systematic corruption being investigated at the highest levels. Malcom Jamal Warner was positioning himself as a credible witness to decades of psychological warfare. His final video shows a man who knew he was living on borrowed time.
You know, life is out here lifing, right? For me and for everybody else. But just wanted to remind you, as I remind myself, that no matter what's going on, there's always a reason to smile.
Malcolm.
I feel like Malcom Jamal Warner really made peace with what was happening in the industry. He fought. He was bringing a lot of truth. And he did an exemplary job. Because using his platform on Instagram, which had over 700,000 followers, to educate us on our history is definitely commendable. Cool Breeze, thank you for the support. Says, keep it up, brothers. Keep it up, brother. When is the next conference and where is it going to be? I will definitely keep y'all posted. I would definitely keep y'all posted. It's more than likely soon as the weather breaks, soon as it's not 100 degrees outside. All right. This fall, we will be having another gathering. All right. But I will definitely be keeping y'all posted. Let's continue.
Was acknowledging that forces beyond his control were determining his fate. The forced positivity, the desperate attempt to find reasons to smile, the promise that I'll be back soon. This was a man saying goodbye without being able to say goodbye. 3 days later, he was dead in the waters off Costa Rica, officially ruled an accidental drowning. No witnesses, no foul play, just another tragic loss that...
Right. They told us it was no witnesses. They told us it was no foul play. The first story that we were told about Malcolm's death was that he was going on an early morning swim. A current carried him away. Nobody else was out there. They found him several hundred yards away from the coast of Costa Rica. And they said they found him in a rocky cove. That is the initial story. Couple days later, the story changed as details came out. They claimed that a surfer saved him and his daughter. They claimed that they found him immediately. Soon as he got in the water, he pretty much drowned. They claim it was all these surfers out here. But my question is, why would a man with dozens of surfers catching waves, why would a man go jump in the ocean with such high tides and go swimming against the current? Why? It does not make any logical sense. Why is it that we don't have any witnesses? Why is it that we don't have any witnesses? They are eyewitnesses. It's because they blood sacrificed him. Because he was fighting for our image. That's why. And it is very suspicious. And ladies and gentlemen, if you can, get the likes up. We got a lot of people viewing. Let's make sure the likes match the viewership. Thank y'all.
Permanently silenced a truth teller who had become too dangerous to the machine. Eddie Griffin's warning about black entertainers never leaving the business clean wasn't theoretical. He was documenting a pattern that would eventually consume his friend, Malcom Jamal.
And yes, Eddie spoke very avidly about how black entertainers just can't walk away. And he foreshadowed what was to come. Now, I know some celebrities that walked out of the industry through the grace of the Almighty God. Shout out to my brother Woodrow, former member of Drew Hill, a brother who I'm very close to. He walked out, never to turn back. That brother's one of those guys, we don't have to talk for a few months. And then when we see each other, when we chop it up, it's just like we never parted ways. You know, I've met quite a few people who escaped through the grace of God, but I personally believe that Malcolm's death was martyrdom. I believe it's martyrdom. I believe that this happened so we can carry on the work, and we never forget that these people don't have our best interests at mind. We'll never forget how diabolical the industry is. We will never forget that they don't want us squeaky clean. They don't want us to just live our lives in the industry and be successful and pass down generational wealth. They don't want that. Let's go.
Warner. Eddie wasn't just defending Bill Cosby. He was exposing the systematic timing and methodology behind character assassination campaigns targeting powerful black men in entertainment. In this explosive interview, Eddie methodically deconstructed the Cosby allegations, pointing out how they followed a predictable pattern designed to maximize psychological and financial damage. Eddie highlighted the suspicious timing, how decades-old accusations surfaced precisely when Cosby was at his peak influence, attempting to buy NBC and regain control over his creative legacy.
And that's just the truth. That's why Cosby was put in prison, humiliated, you know, lied on. They created an entire smear campaign against Bill Cosby, and Bill Cosby was innocent. They put a stain on that man's life that can never be lived down. Bill Cosby was innocent. And how we know that? Because Bill Cosby was let out. Not on a technicality, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Cosby was let out because they had nothing. They were just showing him who's boss. The industry cannibalizes our patriarchs, our elders. They don't have no shame. Why? Because Cosby wanted real black empowerment. Cosby tried to buy the network, and they wasn't having that. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was trying to buy out record labels. Michael Jackson was showing other people how to play the game. He showed the guy from the Beatles how to play the game, and they came from him. They came for him. Yeah, he was trying to purchase. Yeah, Michael Jackson was trying to purchase Sony. Bill Cosby was trying to purchase NBC. They wasn't having that. Did the same thing to Sam Cooke. I mean, the list can go on and on and on. Let's continue.
He questioned the logic behind the accuser's stories, asking why women would voluntarily enter private hotel rooms with a married man whose family-focused public image was internationally known. Then wait 30 years to report alleged assaults. But Eddy's real bombshell was connecting this to a broader systematic effort. He wasn't focused on Cosby's guilt or innocence. He was documenting how the
Thanks to Restore, primetime is...
And you know what he said? Hold up, we're good there. Sorry about the ad, y'all. Thank y'all for being patient. That was an interesting point that was just brought out. Eddy Griffin didn't focus on his guilt or innocence, but he focused on the methodology of how the elite go about systematically keeping us in check. That's what he focused on. Just like you got a lot of creators out there, right? Who they want to pigeonhole our people, and they want us to go along with the machine and throw our black men under the bus every time something take place. No, we're not doing that. We're going to focus. We're going to shift the focus. The focus is on the elite now. The focus is on the industry. They don't like that. But anyway, let's go.
Deploys coordinated media campaigns to destroy Black entertainers who become too independent, too wealthy, or too vocal about racial injustice. The 30-year delay wasn't accidental. It ensured the allegations would surface past the statute of limitations, making them impossible to prove or disprove legally while maximizing reputational damage. The pattern is always the same. Michael Jackson died while planning the comeback that would have given him unprecedented control over his music and legacy. Prince died just as he was fighting to regain ownership of his masters.
Exactly. And we know Prince was not, he did not die of a drug overdose. From all accounts of everybody near Prince, Prince was a health nut. Prince didn't do no drugs, y'all. So this is a lie. Why he wanted to get his masters. They do this to athletes too. They do this to rappers too. That's why I tell all you inspiring artists to protect the gift. Protect the gift. Let's go.
Whitney Houston died at the height of renewed public interest in her story of industry abuse. And now Malcom Jamal Warner, a figure so beloved he was immune to typical character assassination, dies in a Costa Rica drowning accident, just as he was becoming most vocal about systematic psychological warfare against Black Americans.
That's the conversation that they don't want on the table. They don't want us to talk about the psychological warfare, because I'm going to tell you this right now. When they take AI and they come up with these deplorable images and they push these negative stereotypes on our people, that's psychological warfare. When these content creators go in the chum bucket and go dumpster diving to find Black degeneracy, that is psychological warfare. That's to keep your self-esteem low. That's to make you think that your people are just wicked and your people are just filthy beings. It's a dehumanization mechanism that's put in line to make sure that you don't know your greatness. Those type of people, you got to cut them off. World Star Hip Hop, Shade Room, Gossip, All of these sites are ran by the CIA. They all ran by agencies. Let me talk to you. Why? To promote psychological warfare. They want you to see people who look like you acting like animals. Because why? You dehumanize a group of individuals, particularly marginalized individuals. You dehumanize them before you engage, and you destroy them. And you still wondering if we at war or not. Yeah, we at war. And Malcolm was speaking out, and we gonna speak out. Because we're not for sale. Let's go.
But Eddy saw this coming. He's been documenting this pattern for years, warning that the machine always has a final solution when reputation destruction fails.
You're not going to die clean.
I mean, everything that Bill Cosby has built up, the deck.
You said you're not going to die clean. And if you are clean, if they can't get nothing on you, if they can't set you up, if you stand set apart from filthiness, they still coming. Because that's how war works. They can't just let our soldiers walk free.
Decades of work that he stood behind.
The man has, single-handedly,
If you want to get your name, phone number, and address off the internet, but want to handle the removals yourself,
sent a bunch of brothers and sisters to college.
Malcom Jamal Warner was building something too dangerous to ignore. His podcast, Not All Hood, challenged every stereotype the industry profits from.
Now, peep what he just said. Peep, Not All Hood, Malcom Jamal Warner's podcast. It challenged every negative stereotype that was coming from the industry. So he was image reclamation. He was trying to reclaim our image. He was challenging the status quo. He was pushing an envelope. He was fighting. You cannot think for a second that this did not go unnoticed by the elite. Don't think for a second it went unnoticed. Listen, Malcom Jamal Warner was too successful for them not to pay attention. So what they did, they J. Edgar Hoovered him. Just how J. Edgar Hoover snuffed out the Panthers. Because why? They are terrified of a black messiah. They're terrified of it. I'm telling you, man. They snuff out all our greats. And at some point, we got to be sick and tired of it. At some point, we got to get on code. And stop letting these people play with us. See, the grassroots movement of FBA, of image reclamation, it is a threat to the establishment. Because if they cannot systematically tarnish our image, they lose power over the generations. They want control over our likeness. And now there's been a fire ignited. Since Malcolm left, they thought the message was going to die. No, the message ain't dying. The message was just born. Because we're going to carry on the legacy. We're not over here mourning. We're not mourning Hulk Hogan. We don't care. We're not mourning Ozzy Osbourne. We're going to focus on our brother who had a message. We're going to focus on what his message was and how we can push his message.
His Instagram poetry exposed the psychological programming Eddy had been warning about. His interviews connected entertainment industry racism to broader patterns of systematic oppression. Most dangerously, he was doing it with the credibility of Theo Huxtable. You can't destroy America's favorite TV son with typical smear campaigns.
Exactly. They couldn't destroy him through smear campaigns. So they had to come after him. They sacrificed this brother because they could not destroy him. It was too much positivity surrounding this brother. They could not sully his reputation. It was not easy to just break down Malcom Jamal Warner when he stayed out of harm's way. He stayed out of trouble. Which shows you when you walking upright, when you are living a righteous lifestyle, it's very difficult for them to stop you, and you can go so far in life. You can just do so much in life. I was listening to the Wu-Tang song back from the 90s, Party Your Life Away. You can't drink your life away, smoke your life away, your life away, scheme your life away. Or your seeds, they're going to have the same fate. Wu-Tang was bringing a message in that. Wu-Tang was bringing a message in that. Why? Because when you sober, when you vigilant, when you hardworking, when you focused, bro, these people can't stop us, man. Anyway, let's go.
You can't isolate someone with his resume and connections. When character assassination won't work, when professional blacklisting fails, the machine moves to its final phase. 3 days after Malcom Jamal Warner's body was pulled from Costa Rican waters, Eddy Griffin posted the tribute that confirmed every conspiracy theorist's worst fears. But it wasn't what he said.
We're not conspiracy theorists. We're truthers. Everybody in the truth intelligence community. Let's start calling, instead of conspiracy theorist community, let's start calling ourselves the truth intelligence community. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we're on a precipice of a lot of things being revealed. And that word conspiracy theory was made up by the CIA. I can't remember what president it was under. If somebody got that information, share it in the chat. Conspiracy theory. The words conspiracy theory was made by CIA. That was made by Central and Counterintelligence. That's straight up. Somebody said it was under JFK. I know the CIA made it. We the truth intelligence community. Truth. Hey, listen, TIC, truth intelligence community. No more of this the conspiracy theorist community. No. What you're dealing with is hybrid thinkers who have a moral and spiritual compass, who are socially aware. That's who we are. Anyway, let's go.
It was how he said it. My heart is heavy today. For what the world lost was a father, a son, a poet, a musician, an actor, a teacher, a writer, a director, a friend, a warrior that I had the pleasure of going to war with.
Now, Eddy says that Malcolm was a warrior who he had the pleasure of going to war with. Why everybody on the outside believe that we not at war? It's a silent war going on. And nobody else, we're not worried about the tethers, the Sambos, and the raccoons. We're not worried about them. I'm talking to you brothers and sisters who have the talent, you have the skills, you have the ability, you have the insight and the spiritual fortitude. It's time that we join the war, because your silence is complicity. If you're silent about the war, you're complicit. Let's go.
Against the Hollywood machine, and sometimes with each other, because that's what brothers do. But the love was and is always there. Every word was military terminology. Malcolm wasn't an entertainer. He was a warrior. They didn't work together. They went to war. Hollywood wasn't their workplace. It was the Hollywood machine.
See, he said go to war with the Hollywood machine. That's what Eddy said. He didn't say we going to work, y'all. It's just another job, you know. Listen, when I get on YouTube and create content, I'm going to war with the machine. Let's just keep it a buck. This is not just, you know, none of these apparatuses are geared towards benefiting us. So we have to literally, you know, tame our tongue, jump through loopholes, be careful what we say, can't say this, gotta say this, can't say that. You gotta jug and finesse your way through. Instead of them saying, you know, hey, I'm just going to work. Let me go with the script that we were given, even though it makes our people look like clowns in circus gestures. No, Malcolm said, no, this is war. Eddy said, no, this is war. I can imagine them bumping heads because Malcolm is probably more conservative than Eddy. They probably didn't get along because Malcolm was probably very stringent. Like, nope, that's going to make us look like goofies. That's going to make us look like sellouts. Nah, we ain't, what is this? This ain't blackface. I'm not doing that. Could you imagine Malcom Jamal Warner and Eddy talking? And Eddy is soul brother. Eddy Griffin is a soul brother. So he like, yeah, I ain't with the sellout stuff. But come on, man. Let's get this paycheck. But Malcolm was real tedious with it. Nah. Nope, she ain't going to be dressed like that on the show. Nope, I'm not saying this line right here. And that holds a mirror up to all the sellouts. So when you see a lot of these sellouts crying a river, shedding crocodile tears over Malcolm, they don't really care that Malcolm gone, because why? Malcolm was holding up a mirror on what not to do. And people hate that. They look, they just like, let's just go along to get along. We getting paid. Oh, I'm very aware of this. I done lived it. Well, people just want you to shut up. Well, people just want you to be like, no, just go along to get along. Let us get a YouTube paycheck, man. Why you saying all this, man? Come on, man. We getting paid. Why you got to talk about philanthropy work? Why you got to throw events and warn people about stuff? That's how it goes. And then when the freedom fighter is gone, behind closed doors, they celebrating. Behind closed doors, they happy he gone. Why? Because they can continue cooning and buffooning for a paycheck. That's how it works. I'm telling you, that's how it works.
The same term activists use for systematic oppression. This wasn't grief. This was confirmation. Eddy was telling everyone who understands the code that Malcolm died fighting the same battle Eddy had been documenting for decades. The timing of Eddy's response was crucial. Most celebrity deaths get generic condolences that
look at Eddy's. Oh man, they about to bring a pivotal point. But look at Eddy's background.
This was confirmation. Eddy was telling everyone who understands the code that Malcolm died fighting the same battle Eddy had been documenting for decades. The timing of Eddy's response was crucial.
Look at it. He got TV sets, celebrity with media, wake up, free, protest, injustice. Eddy was trying to plant seeds. Where do you think Eddy learned that from? He learned that from Malcolm. He learned that from Malcolm.
Deaths get generic condolences that take hours or days to craft with publicists. Eddy's tribute went up immediately, raw and unfiltered, like someone who had been expecting this call for years. Malcolm had stopped.
Yeah, Eddy's response is very revealing. Very revealing.
Picking his battles strategically. In his final months, he was fighting on all fronts, challenging systematic programming through his podcast, exposing psychological warfare through his Instagram poetry, connecting entertainment industry corruption to broader patterns of racial oppression.
An artist, to be a conscious artist of color, you're constantly having to pick your battles.
Yep.
And at some point you have to really decide what your boundaries are. What are the things that you undoubtedly stand for.
And see, that's what it is. A lot of people don't have any type of integrity, and they don't have no recourse. They just want to be put on. There's so many people walking around with a price tag on their neck. There's so many people, even on social media, that sell out. Why? Because they're incentivized to act like animals. They're incentivized to get on camera and coon and talk stupid. That's how a 607 unk gets put on. Oh, let's make him popular. Let's let the kids look up to a drug addict. So many of these young rappers are getting on just to OD. So many of these social media personalities are walking around with their hands raised, saying, hey, pick me, pick me. I can coon. I can disrespect my own people. I can throw my brothers under the bus. I can throw my sisters under the bus. Please pick me. I just want the money. And then when you have somebody like Malcom Jamal Warner that is totally against that, we got to pay attention to it. Because I'm sure the brother had to fight against a lot.
Malcolm had crossed the line from managed resistance to dangerous truth-telling, and Eddie Griffin's tribute confirmed that the machine responded exactly as Eddie had predicted for years.
Yep, Eddie was foreshadowing it. Why? Because the pattern is not hard to catch on to. And a lot of these celebrities, a lot of these entertainers, social media personalities, creators, content creators, they're selling out for the money. And I'm gonna say this. Everything is ours anyway. Money is a figment of our imagination. New Breed, what are you talking about? Don't go too deep now. We need money to do this and do that. Let me ask y'all this. Did the people who came over, Christopher Columbus and them who got over here and took America, did they have money when they took America? Or they just took it? Did they have money when they took America, or did they just take it? If everybody in the world right now said, you know what, we're not going to use money no more. All this free land over there, we're going to go take that. Who the hell going to stop you? So when I say money is a figment of our imagination, the only thing that makes it real is that we believe in it. The only thing that makes it real is that we believe in it. Somebody said, yeah, money is just a tool. Somebody says, y'all sleep on Unc. No, he's sleeping on himself. Half his interviews, he looked like he sleep. But the point is, that's who they propagate as some type of leader in our community. And I don't know 607 Unc. I'm giving you examples of the type of caricatures that they use to influence and inspire our youth. Whatever. Listen, it was once upon a time where you had to be a powerful orienter. You had to be knowledgeable. You had to be an historian. And you had to have courage to be a leader in our community. Nowadays, you get put on for being a damn shock jock. Who could say the craziest thing on camera? Who could just say the wildest thing, no matter how bad it make our people look. And that gets incentivized. That's image destruction. Yeah, he made it at 607 Unc made it after he talked about he sacrificed his son. What are we sleeping on? That man said he blood sacrificed his son. Ever since then, he been famous. Even if he's not telling the truth, what kind of message do that set across? I ain't sleeping on. I'm wide awake with everything that's going on. But anyway, let's continue.
To understand Malcom Jamal Warner's final transformation, you need to know about Michelle Thomas, the woman whose death in 1998 shaped every decision he made for the next 20
years. I remember her on Family Matters, man. She was beautiful back in the day. I remember when Steve Urkel kept going to Laura Winslow. I'm like, nah, bro. Elmira. I think her name was Elmira in the show. I was like, nah, Elmira, that's the one. I'm like, yo, Steve keep chasing Laura. But I'm like, nah, that Elmira, bro. And she was just steady chasing Steve Urkel through the show. I'm like, bro, what you doing? But anyway, Laura Winslow was fine too back in the day. But I'm just saying, Myra, she wasn't no joke. But anyway, this was Malcolm's ex. Malcolm was by her side when she passed away. A lot of people didn't know that. She had got cancer, I believe, in the stomach cancer. Anyway, let's go.
7 years. Michelle wasn't just another Hollywood romance. She was Malcolm's co-star, his moral anchor, and ultimately, his guide from beyond the grave. Michelle Thomas played Justine Phillips on The Cosby Show, Theo's sweet, intelligent girlfriend who represented everything positive about young black love on television.
And see, that's what's up. That's the type of depictions we need to see. That's what shape our minds while we at that very impressionable age, seeing those positive depictions. This is what the image reclamation movement is all about. Pointing out the negative and promoting the positive. Let's go.
But behind the cameras, Michelle and Malcolm's real-life relationship became something deeper and more transformative than anything their characters experienced on screen. Michelle Thomas was born in Boston to Caribbean immigrant parents who instilled in her an unshakable moral foundation. She entered Hollywood with her values intact and refused to let the industry corrupt her spirit.
And that's what's interesting about it, man. This was another sister who refused to let the industry destroy her soul, her spirit. She didn't let them, compromise her ethics. And then strange enough, she just passes away randomly, man. I don't believe this stuff. We just see so many untimely deaths with anybody who pushes back. Yeah, that is true. Lachey T, she said it. She said Jamil White said in the interview, I remember this, that Michelle wouldn't sell her soul. He said she wasn't that kind of girl. I remember that. And then all of a sudden she allegedly dies of stomach cancer. And none of us ever really sees what happens behind the scenes. It seemed like anytime our people are trying to empower themselves or protect our image, there's an issue. As if these damn demons, these devils who run Hollywood, who run the industry, believe they have a right to our image. It's like they believe they have the right to our image. It's like saying, no, we own you. They treat us like dogs. We own you. If you get out of line, we're going to put you down. Well, we saying in 2025, we're not going for that. Even if that means we having a silent protest. Even if that means we all on one day rocking not for sale shirts. Even if that means that we call out every time these devils try to pervert our image. If that means that, and listen, if that means more of us got to go, then it is what it is, because that's war. That's war. It's just so crazy how these celebrities pass away so mysteriously. Even Eazy-E. How the hell you get full-blown AIDS in like a month and die? How? Why? Why? Because Eric Wright was about to own publishing too. Eric Wright didn't even need them people. Eric Wright went straight from the streets. He had his own distribution centers. He had his own distribution companies to push out the albums. It's just so many strange things that took place. Yeah, I believe he was injected with something. I believe that they be poisoning these people. That's my thoughts. You know, they be poisoning these people. But anyway, let's go.
While other young actresses were being pressured into degrading roles or exploitative situations, Michelle maintained her dignity. She chose projects carefully, spoke thoughtfully about representation, and never compromised her principles for fame or money. Malcolm fell in love not just with Michelle's beauty, but with her integrity. In an industry designed to break down young Black talent, Michelle represented something rare, someone who could navigate Hollywood without losing herself. Their 5-year relationship became Malcolm's education in maintaining authenticity while building a career.
I'm sure Malcolm learned a lot from this sister. And that goes to show, man, the woman that you choose to be with can add some substance to you, even as a brother. Even if you woke, you conscious, you aware, man, that rib, man, that counterpart, man, it exemplifies it. It exemplifies it. I'm telling you, man. And I mean, that's a beautiful thing. We need more images of that on TV. Nowadays, when you turn on TV, all you see is everybody getting divorces. Everybody's getting separated. Nobody stays together. You see Remy and Papoose having straight drag out brawls on social media. You see nothing but insanity nowadays. And this would also explain why Malcolm waited so long to start a family too. You know, we don't know how long he mourned the loss of this woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he mourned it for a long time. I'm pretty sure Malcolm was, you know what I'm saying, dealing with this type of loss and probably had a bury up, had a wall up, and not just quick to just pick any woman. Yep, somebody said it's just dysfunction everywhere now. Yep.
When cancer struck Michelle at just 28 years old, Malcolm watched the love of his life fight with the same moral clarity she had brought to everything else. Even facing death, Michelle made what she called the highest choice, refusing to let fear or bitterness consume her final months. Malcolm was there when she took her last breath. Michelle's mother revealed that he literally climbed into the hospital bed to hold Michelle as she died. This wasn't celebrity grief. This was a man losing the person who had kept his soul intact in an industry designed to destroy it.
I'm pretty sure at that point that Malcolm vowed not to compromise at all. He lost the love of his life during that time. Of course, Malcolm, you know, he also married and all of that, but I'm pretty sure that had a lasting effect on the brother. I'm pretty sure that was embedded in his conscience, what he had learned. Yeah, that had to hurt. And see, that's the thing, man. Sometimes relationships be temporary so you can learn something in life. We don't know. Look, sometimes the Most High move in mysterious ways. You know, it may be times that you dealt with a sister deal with a brother, and you know, for whatever reason, it don't work, but you might have learned something in that relationship that saved your life. God, sometimes the Most High make a situation so you cross paths with an individual so you can learn certain things from that person so you can carry out his will. That happens. I'm telling you.
For 27 years after Michelle's death, Malcolm used her memory as his moral GPS. Every career decision, every public statement, every moment of temptation was filtered through one question. What would Michelle have done? This wasn't just romantic nostalgia. It was a survival strategy in an industry that systematically corrupts Black talent. But something changed in Malcolm's final year. The man who had spent decades carefully balancing Michelle's moral guidance with Hollywood pragmatism suddenly stopped being diplomatic. His final Instagram posts about being tired of running for shade.
And see, that's what happens. Eventually, you're going to get tired of walking on eggshells. You're going to get to the point where you're like, you know what? I'm at the tail end of my career. I've done my work, and I'm still tired of hiding. I'm still tired of, you know, playing Hollywood games. I'm tired of it. Because when you get older, when you get more wise and you grow in stature, it's certain things you're going to speak out about. You're going to speak out about it because, listen, you know, tomorrow's not promised. And we really don't have time to play games. As you get older, you don't have time to play games. You're going to say what's on your mind a lot of the times. And it wasn't that Malcolm was cracking at the seams and that Malcolm couldn't, you know, have govern over himself. It's that, no, he knew the importance and the urgency of letting our people know that we got to stop being tired of hiding. That we gotta get tired of people abusing our image. We gotta get tired of the promotion of Black degeneracy. We gotta get tired of it. The brother was very, very much grounded. Let's go.
Represented Malcolm finally embracing the kind of uncompromising truth-telling that Michelle would have been proudest of. He stopped managing his resistance and started speaking with the moral clarity that had made Michelle Thomas too pure for Hollywood to corrupt, and ultimately too dangerous for the machine to let him live.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And that's how we gotta be. We gotta be too pure to let this world corrupt us, brothers and sisters. And people are going to say all kind of things about you right now as we speak. Some of y'all are at the point where you're beginning to veer off from old company you used to keep. Some of y'all are truly embracing a set apart lifestyle. You maneuvering wisely. You're severing ties. You're getting away from toxicity. And people are looking at you as if you done something wrong, as if you ever walk into a room or, you know, run into some people and that you no longer build with, and they look at you like you killed someone. No. You're at a point in time of your life where you have to do what it is you need to do. There's no choice. So, you know, brothers and sisters, you got to keep moving forward. You can't let them pollute you. You can't let them shame you. You can't let them gaslight you. You can't let them hold you to your past. You can't, none of that. It got to be forward progress. Stay locked in. Let's go.
He had made the highest choice Michelle would have been proud of, speaking truth regardless of consequences. But Eddie Griffin knew the price of that choice. His tribute wasn't just mourning a friend. It was documenting the execution of a warrior who refused to surrender in a war most people don't know exists.
Wow. That's exactly what happened. He said we was fighting a Hollywood war. Malcolm was a warrior. And he was fighting a war that the mass majority don't know exists. But in Malcolm's demise, we know the war exists now. Now, what are we going to do about it? Listen, you got Tyler Perry, who got his own studios. The man that had his own studios for 30 years, and this nigga got a dress on every time we see him. What you think that's doing to our image? Why? Because he has a studio doesn't mean that the big wigs and corporate execs aren't cutting the check. See, they let us, look, this is what they do. They let us gallivant as bosses before our people. They let us gallivant around as bosses. But Tyler Perry don't own a damn thing. This man is close to 60 years old, still cross-dressing. He's been cross-dressing for decades. He's been putting out negative images about our men and families for far too long. Every dark-skinned brother in his movie is molly-whopping and jolly-stomping his girlfriend. Every light-skinned brother's cheating on her. Damn it. Listen, aren't we tired of this? I'm tired of it. Yeah, the studio, Amira says it. The studio is a trinket, right? The studio is, he's cosplaying like a boss, right? Anyway, let's go.
The conspiracy theorists who immediately questioned Malcolm's drowning.
We're not conspiracy theorists. We are the truth intelligence community. And yes, I immediately question. Because I question everything, and so should you.
Aren't paranoid. They're pattern recognition experts who understand that in an industry where
pattern recognition experts is what we are. Yes, pattern recognition experts. You had people asking me, Bree, how did you know another celebrity death was going to come after Ozzy Osbourne died? Because I studied the patterns. The patterns in which the media has amplified since 2009. At least that's the earliest I noticed the pattern. I started noticing the death by threes, the trifecta sacrifice. I started noticing that by 2009. That's how I was able to predict that it was going to be another one that dropped. They always go in threes because that's what the Illuminati does. The number 3 is very high to them. Beginning, middle, and end. The triangle is triangulation. The 33rd degree Masons. 3 is also a number of completion in witchcraft. Yeah, it's all mathematics. And the thing is, I don't believe in those things, but clearly the industry believes in it, and they carry out their rituals. Yeah, Jason G said it. They believe it, and they act on it. Absolutely. And look, they got Diddy looking like the devil himself right here. Let's go.
Paranoid. They're pattern recognition experts who understand that in an industry where Diddy faces federal charges for decades of systematic abuse, where Jeffrey Epstein connections run deep through entertainment circles.
And Diddy is a sellout, for the record. Diddy is a sellout. I know, some brothers may, some FBA brothers may think otherwise. I don't like Diddy. Right? I don't like Diddy. Did he do it? Yeah, he did it. Damn it. I don't like Diddy based on what I've seen, right? But you got to remember those who supported Diddy. You got to remember the type of people who support Diddy. Yeah, Diddy, somebody said Diddy was a pawn and chose to be. Right. These are sellouts. Diddy's a sellout. I believe Diddy is a federal informant and some more stuff, but that's neither here nor there. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. But what I'm trying to get y'all to see is just because I rock with my people, don't mean I rock with all my people. If you evil as hell, then you evil. Listen, I may be FBA, I rock with the brothers, I rock with the people, but only people who really support Diddy is degenerates or tethers who want that to be the image of FBA. Yeah, Diddy, he's part of a whole cabal. It's funny that they're mentioning Diddy and Epstein in the same sentence because they one of the same. Evil is evil. I don't like Diddy or Epstein. Let's go.
An industry where Diddy faces federal charges for decades of systematic abuse, where Jeffrey Epstein connections run deep through entertainment circles, where corruption is finally being exposed at the highest levels, the death of a credible witness is never really accidental. Malcom Jamal.
Hey, where are all the witnesses that seen Malcom Jamal want to drown? That's what we really want to know. But let's go.
Jamal Warner didn't die in a swimming accident.
No.
He was eliminated because he had become too dangerous to the machine he and Eddy had been fighting their entire careers.
How many of y'all agree with what was just said? I know I surely do. Malcolm he didn't just die in some swimming accident. Yes, somebody said it. Also, autopsy reports, ? Where are they? Why nowadays we never get autopsy reports of these celebrities? We still don't know how but we still don't know how young Scooter died. I see that we have a lot of members of the intelligence truth community in here. Tyra Clark says these puppets are demonic principalities over the industry. Right. It was a water ritual. I agree, Catherine Lewis. They're giving heed to marine spirits. I mean, how many well-known actors, musicians, and so forth are going to drown? They never come up with nothing different. Yeah, none of that story makes any sense. I see we got some thinking people in here. Anyway, let's go.
His final Instagram poetry about psychological warfare, his podcast challenging racial stereotypes, his interviews connecting entertainment racism to broader systematic oppression. All of it threatened the narrative control that keeps the machine running.
They all threaten the narrative control that keeps the machine running. He was a threat to the industry. I'm going to share the link as well. If you brothers and sisters, if my FBA brothers want to join, my image reclamation brothers and sisters want to join, feel free to hit the link. I want y'all to be able to speak y'all mind on what y'all think. You know, whether agree or disagree, you are welcome to join aboard. Anyway, this was real talk, what they just said. Hear this again.
He was eliminated because he had become too dangerous to the machine he and Eddy had been fighting their entire careers.
Yep.
His final Instagram poetry about psychological warfare, his podcast challenging racial stereotypes, his interviews connecting entertainment racism to broader systematic oppression. All of it threatened the narrative control that keeps the machine running. Eddy Griffin's immediate, uncompromising tribute serves as both obituary and battle cry. By calling Malcolm a warrior who died fighting the Hollywood machine.
That's exactly what it is. That's a battle cry. You know, I'm gonna be tuning in to Eddie Griffin's podcast. And I have watched it a few times. I would love to have a conversation with that brother Eddie Griffin, because what he posted on Instagram was very transcending. It was almost like when I seen what he posted, that was a dog whistle. I said, "Oh, now I know we on the right track. Now I know the importance of securing our image. Now I understand why the Most High this last year or two has put me on this path of protecting our image." I would wonder why I would get so infuriated when I would see these grown-ass men wearing dresses, and I see, you know, your little Uzis and these different people. When I start seeing stuff like, let me see if I got this. When I start seeing stuff like this, why would this upset me so bad? Look.
Uzi! What's up, Uzi? Is that Uzi? Can we get a picture with you?
You don't want no smoke, Uzi.
Thank you.
Yeah, right here. Right here, Uzi. Right here, Uzi. Right here.
Behind you, Uzi.
Why did this make me so upset where every time it happens, like I gotta explain to the youth that you don't want to be walking around like that? Or when I see former presidents say stuff like this.
I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't outlawed. Need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group, so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you have Barack Obama come out and say that heterosexual men should have homosexual friends, just so our children can have gay mentors. To do what? Groom them for a homosexual life? The fact that these people are anti-life disturbs me, because that campaign is always geared towards our people. Yeah, it's real nasty work, man. It's nasty work. But Obama's supposed to represent us. Obama's a tether, by the way. Obama does not represent us. Obama, he's not us. All right. Where did Obama come from? He ain't FBA. He not us. He ain't Judah. He ain't none of that. Yeah, he definitely some kind of Hamite. He ain't our people. But he has the audacity to be going up in barbershops trying to condemn and shame black men. No, we're not going for that. We're not going for that. And you know, all of these tethers out here, they get very upset that we practice inclusion. Everybody ain't welcome. I'm sorry. No, sorry, not sorry. We're inclusive. And it's like, look, I'm going to tell you what the tethers, they're upset because they no longer can exploit us. They want to make merchandise out of us. But once we see you for who you are, we're going to go delineate and say no access, access denied. You got these people walking around with these superiority complexes, thinking that they can tell us something. No, we're not going for that. We don't rock with Obama. Once we delineate, they get pissed. Listen, the more time passes, the more our people are on the same page, and that's a threat to the system. That's just the truth. Why? Because when we unify and we come on one accord, like we did with the whole Hulk Hogan situation, even something that small, as a whole, black people don't want to mourn Hulk Hogan. Now, people get upset. Why? Because we've made a decision all at once. Our people made a decision. We delineate, hey, we mourning this guy? No. Yeah, that's right. Real 80 says, here they come wagging their fingers when we put our foot down. Exactly. Every time we go, every time we do something among each other, here they come. It's like, look, here comes Judah. Somebody says send the link again. All right, I'll do that. Y'all got 5 minutes. If I don't see names and faces starting to pop up, then I'm going to continue on my diatribe because y'all know I can speak. Y'all know I can get long-winded sometimes. I'm very vocal about things. Hold on, let's finish this video off.
He was confirming what many suspected, but few dared say. The war is real. The casualties are mounting.
The war is real. This is war right now. These people got AI with coins and cryptocurrency connected to it, making a killing off our image, making generational wealth off our image. And then you got the tethers, dumpster diving, trying to find negative, degenerate videos about us. No, all we saying is, if you one of those creators that like looking for black degeneracy and sharing it on your platform, as a whole, we've delineated. Our people decided we're not supporting you because you don't see the whole picture. We've decided we're not rocking with you. You're going to have to find your tether demographic. You're going to have to go get your Myron Gaines crowd. You're going to have to go get, listen, you have to go into the sewers and go find somebody else to grift off. That's just what it is. We all on one page with this. Let's finish the video and I'm going to start letting guests in.
And the machine will eliminate anyone who threatens its control over black minds and black narratives. In the end, Malcom Jamal Warner's death proves Eddie Griffin's most chilling prediction. In Hollywood's systematic war against conscious black entertainers, nobody leaves this business clean. And the truth tellers who refuse to stay silent don't get to leave at all.
That's a fact. And that's exactly what I thought as soon as I got the news that Malcom Jamal Warner died in some accident. This is the first, I mean, if you can go back to the initial video and y'all will see that because I know how the industry gets down.
The machine claimed another warrior, but Eddie's confirmation ensures that Malcolm's death won't be forgotten.
It won't be forgotten. Not as long as the image reclamation movement is here, as long as we are proclaiming that we're not for sale, as long as I got breath in my lungs and the brothers and sisters who are going to be joining, you know, long as we know, right? Anyway, let me bring DeMario McKellen in. What up, fam?
How you doing, New Breed?
I'm doing well. How's it going?
It's going good over here. Been watching you for a minute, man. Yeah, you ain't doing nothing but telling the truth. I love it.
Man, all praises. Thank you, brother.
Hey, and just like you said, man, like when you talk about political, like the right wing and we talking about Democrats and Republicans. I ain't with all that roof grass, none of them.
Right.
Man, tell me something. How has it benefited us anyway?
Right. How? I mean, listen, Democrats or Republicans haven't created a comprehensive plan for.
They
black
all sleeping in the same bed.
Hey, you're absolutely right on that. And see, that's the thing. I'm gonna say this too, Demario. That's another reason why it's such a threat, because they're trying to pigeonhole us on one side or another. You know, when we grassroots and we don't have no political affiliations, we can see the whole spectrum, go right down the middle and say, look, we pro us. We're not connected to them. That's what's a threat, because it threatens the whole establishment. So you're right about that, bro.
It does, and you know what? I'll be sharing your live. I've been sharing like some other people's lives. If you don't mind me mentioning, like Dan Calloway, Papa Doug, and the brother, who was that? Jamal. But yeah,
Yep.
Then I find out a thing about frequencies, right? So they have this little frequency app. Guess what? Now they ain't got no longer in the country. So when I try to purchase it, they won't allow me to.
What's that?
It's an app that's supposed to cure like over 10,000 different frequencies or whatever. You know why they tore down the bells?
Yeah.
So it's like letting out certain frequencies and all this. I mean,
right. You're right, bro. And of course, anything that's good for us, they want to hide it or make it extremely. How'd that go? But thank you for joining, brother. I got a loaded queue, so I'm trying to get as many people in before I end.
Hey, go ahead, bro, man. Keep it going.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. Peace to you.
Yep.
All right, and then we're gonna bring brother Simon Gardner in. What's going on with you, brother?
Yo, what's up, New Breed? We say, my bro. You good?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, man. I can't complain, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Surviving out here, bro. Do you know what
Oh
I mean?
man, you've been on before. I remember you, bro. I know you got some nuggets for us, man. What's happening?
Yeah, the guy from UK and that, bro. You get me?
That's
yeah,
right.
man.
That's right.
Bro, what the hell is going on out here, man? What's going on out here, bro? Like, in the past few days, you know what I'm saying? I've been in deep thought, bro. And I just been like, because Hulk Hogan, Ozzy Osbourne died as well, innit? Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about that?
Bro, it's really strange, bro. It's really techie, bro. It's really strange. It's really strange circumstances, because if you count the day that they died, it's like 2 days apart from each other. And it all adds up. It all adds up to the number 6.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's looking really techie, man. You understand? It's looking really techie, man. I don't like what's going on with that. You know what I mean? But rest in peace, because they were all icons. You know what I mean? In my childhood, because I'm. You understand me? Like, I'm from the 80s.
In their respective fields, you had one a wrestling icon, you had one a rock and roll icon, and one the face of 90s sitcom. So those are 3 huge names. So we don't dispute that. But go ahead.
That's right, man.
Yep.
I mean, like the Cosby Show and like Jamal and that, bro. I see him like, obviously, I see Jamal like he's a big brother to me. As a young child, I'm seeing him as a big brother, because as I'm watching the show as a child, I'm like, well, this is my family. This is how we operate. You understand? Right. So I felt like I was one of the characters. Like, this was my family. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah. Very tragic, man. My condolences goes out to his family and stuff like that. And but what are they saying though? What are they saying about the circumstances? Did he go? Was he swimming and he drowned or something?
That's the irony of it, bro. They told us a whole lot of different stories. At first, I distinctly remember the news saying that he went on a morning swim. It was early in the morning. The sun wasn't up, and he got caught up in the current. Then when you go to Entertainment Tonight, after all these new developments, all of a sudden they're saying that the man had his daughter with him. They say that there was dozens of surfers out there, and they say it was all these people, but they never interviewed not one witness. These would be eyewitnesses to correspond with what they're telling us. So if this had been anybody else who wasn't FBA, who wasn't a brother, if this would have happened to Beyonce, the Beehive would have been tearing stuff down. I mean, they would have been trying to figure out everything. They would have wanted autopsy reports. They would have wanted everything. But if this had been Taylor Swift, same thing. I hate to just throw names out there, but if this
they would investigate everything, bro. They would investigate everything, bro. Yeah, I'm saying, and these are just strange circumstances, like the many other celebrities that's gone, bro. Whitney Houston, Prince. We can be here for all night with it, bro. You understand me? And we still get no answers. We still get no clarity on the cause of death. What was the cause? You understand? Even Muhammad Ali, things like that. You know, because Muhammad Ali was a young man, bro. He was still young, man.
Yeah,
you understand?
He was.
But I'm still trying to understand. How do you jump in a river to go swimming and end up drowning? Like, how can you swim and end up drowning? I thought the only people that drown are people that can't swim.
Well, rip tides are pretty powerful tides. But here's the issue.
That's true. That's true.
Here's the issue. Yeah, riptide can take you out, but here's the issue. They say that it was dozens of surfers out there. Now, if it was dozens of surfers out there, why would a man swan dive into the ocean against currents like that? Because if it's dozens of surfers out there, that means it was real wavy out there. A person who's traveled the world, I'm pretty sure he was a good swimmer, is not going to jump in water like that, murky waters like that, and get to swimming against the current. That doesn't make sense. And then we were told different stories. The last story they told us is they found Malcolm immediately. They said they could see him, his shadow at the bottom of the water. But the first story says that he was hundreds of yards away from the shore, and they found him in a rocky cove. Now that's two different stories.
Yeah, no, that sounds.
And they telling us that happened to. Yeah, they telling us it happened to be two doctors. Yeah, they saying it happened to be two doctors out there. Where are these? Where are the interviews with them? All we got was one CIA. We got one CIA crisis actor telling us everything that happened. Where are all the eyewitnesses?
Bro, listen. You know when it's the CIA, bro. You know when it's the CIA, it's all dodgy anyway. All them stories is gonna be dodgy. Yeah. You understand me? Yeah, you can't believe anything they saying, man. They're gonna make up stuff to make the public believe something else. Do you understand me? Like, I mean, I obviously I'm from Jamaica, innit? I've been to Dunn's River, yeah, and I've been in the river, swimming in the ocean. You've been there, yeah? Yeah. So I've been swimming in the ocean, my brother, yeah. And you know the part when you see when you can hear the waves in it, yeah. You can hear the waves coming. I'm in the shallow part. I stay in the shallow part, my bro.
Hey, bro,
you understand me?
You just brought out something though.
I ain't going out there.
No, listen.
Yeah.
You can hear the waves, but on top of that, another something wrong. All right. They said that they found his daughter too. Like his daughter got caught up. Now, why would he bring his why would he bring his daughter all the way out there in a riptide?
That's right. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. You got all these surfers out here. The daughter's young. He brought her all the way out there, and she was able to get saved by a surfer, but he wasn't. That don't make sense. That don't make sense.
You see what the problem is, yeah? You see what the problem is, yeah? Is that we're letting other people do the investigations instead of you, I don't know, as Hollywood or celebrities or just people in general, yeah? Or the community doing your own investigations. You understand me into the subject? Yeah, because if you just let those people do the investigations, they can tell you anything, and you just believe it, right? You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, you need like independent, private investigators get on the case, man. Because you understand me, we're losing people. Man, it's crazy out here, bro. It's crazy out here.
Cherry Boo said you could, brother. You said you could hear the riptide. Cherry said you can see it. That's true, unless you all the way out in the water, like. But why would he have his young daughter out all the way out there? Like, it doesn't make sense. But no, man, thank you, brother. I'm going to bring in a couple more guests, man. You always bring a lot of insight. Thank you, bro.
Take care.
Peace. You too. All right. Oh, my bad, bro. Peace. Thanks for the contribution. Says you think he got hypnotized to go in there. I just think that they're lying all together. Let me bring Amina Seenit in. What's going on, Amina?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me? See me?
I can't see you, but it's weird because I could see you in the background. But now that
It's frozen in the background. I don't see it moving. Should I come out, come in, or just talk?
Hold on, let me bring you out and bring you right back in and see if it works.
Yeah, no, I think I would have to leave because it's frozen. I don't see me moving on that thing.
Okay. Try turning your camera on and then turn it back off and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why it didn't work, but I can see you in the queue. So I know that you. So you could just turn it off, so at least you got a photo there, and then you can switch.
Okay. Yeah. Real quick, because I know you brought up Little Uzi. Did you know his real name? I mean, you know the name, right?
Lucifer?
Yes. Because I can't. You can't unsee that. And I'm like, yo, why would they? Well, we know why they would do it. They put everything in our face. But it says Little Uzi Vert, Lucifer. Right there. I'm like,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure about the drowning, but I know Whitney Houston drowned. Her daughter did.
Yep.
It seems like it is a thing. And that was, and TMZ always gets the news first.
They always do. Almost like they got hitmen.
And it was out of country.
Right.
They said they knew before his family knew. So, I mean, not the family that was there, but
they said they knew it before his family knew.
Not the family there. I don't know about that, but they said they knew before like anybody else knew anything. And then and usually they have more information. They didn't have nothing. They was like really zipped.
Yeah.
So it is weird.
But I'm glad to see that, people are thinking and you can see through it. It's something don't seem right. And speaking of TMZ, I did a breakdown on TMZ some years ago. I don't know if it's still active on YouTube, but I want y'all to check that video out when you get a chance. It's called like the disturbing truth or shocking truth of TMZ. And I was breaking down some stuff I studied on them years ago. I mean, these people got real plants, real agents. I'm talking about they got people off in the desert with motorcycles and all. Man, I'm talking about the highest technology spyware. They got it. TMZ got some stuff, and that's why they always first to the scene. That's a fact.
Yeah, that and they also know where stuff is gonna be before it is. Like they know.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, it's definitely foul play. But thank you, Amina. Seen it. Feel free to join anytime. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Peace. No, I mean, listen, people not just going for the mainstream media, whatever they telling us no more, bro. We not going for that. These people out here just telling us anything. And then they want to holler conspiracy theory. No, it ain't no conspiracy theory. We can see. Let me see. Let's read some of these comments because some of y'all might not want to click the link, but we're going to read some comments. Double D Animation says, I can imagine being on vacation and allowing my folks to maneuver on their own. We got to stay together. Right. Aki says, TMZ got to be CIA. And the main guy looks like a small hat. Yep. Yeah, I don't trust TMZ. Yep. Keena says, make it make sense. Yep. APO says, independent autopsy by FBA needed for brother Jamal. I agree. No, we need to send our doctors. What kind of doctors y'all had on the beach that day? We need to examine. We got to stop believing everything these people tell us. Yeah. I mean, the lies is just not adding up. Somebody said, little do they know that place that awaits them. Oh, yeah. And speaking of Little Uzi Vert, Sister Amina brung it up. I'm going to bring one more guest in. But, recently, DJ Academics was trying to claim that Little Uzi Vert don't worship the devil. Same thing they try to do with Ozzy Osbourne. Listen, you can't be out here worshiping the devil and then try to claim God, man. I'm tired of seeing it. Yep, TMZ, y'all go watch my video. I break down the Talmuds behind TMZ, man. Y'all on it. VZ might have seen my video. But let's bring Magic M in. Magic, what's up?
What's up, New Breed?
Hello, how are you?
I am good. You are like literally my heavenly brother from another realm. I've been watching you forever, and I respect you, and I definitely know that you are who you say you are. I do believe it. I feel it in my spirit, my soul, and you've done so much and given us so much information, and you actually are very brave, because chosen ones like myself, you know, it's taken me some time to even speak out, to say things that I know and that I've seen. But what I could say with this issue and this topic you're talking about, I honestly believe he was set up. And I believe they set him up before he left. I believe that he was followed, and most likely whoever set this thing up to take him out of here, it could have been something like an excursion. You know, can we look at, like, did he plan to let's say take a boat ride out to somewhere? I know that his daughter wasn't there. Don't know what or where the wife was at, but I'm questioning the fact that he ended up in the water. I'm not sure if that's where he started. He could even started to go on an excursion somewhere else, and they did something to him there and then put him in the water and he washed up somewhere else. I'm questioning the fact that the Red Cross was there. What is the Red Cross doing in Costa Rica on the beach after he washes up, where these lifeguards have told lies? They've been caught out with their lies. And what about the locals? Because here's the thing. My mom is Caribbean and my dad is Nigerian. I've been to both places, and I know one thing that they do not play with and they cherish in the Caribbean is their stock, their livestock. Let's say us Americans, or, you know, you go to a Spanish country, they say gringos. They do not play when it comes to protecting us. And they have people not only out there going on these boogie boards, they're going out. They have so many different things happening at one time. There's no way to say that you're saying for one instance that these people rescued him, then you're saying that he washed up, and then you're saying that the signs were there and then it wasn't visible, and the lifeguards was at another beach, and it's not anymore. I believe that when he was doing his rapping, he started to do his new podcast. Hollywood said, nope, we're gonna have to teach you. We're gonna have to show you how we did Sam Cooke, how we did Bill Cosby, how we did this. But like Liza, let's go down the list.
Yeah.
You cannot escape you cannot escape this place. You cannot, once you enter, there's only one way out.
One way out. And then after they do the deed, they sit up here and they bring nothing but confusion. That's their mechanism to throw people off. They give you so much misinformation and conflicting stories. People they shut down. People's minds shut down. Like, what really happened? And no, you got it. You got that right. And then to point to another issue, you got all of these surfers out there, and you claiming that there were no lifeguards. Now, on a wavy day like that, off the shore of Costa Rica, where you got dozens of surfers out there, according to Entertainment Tonight, why weren't there any lifeguards? And if it wasn't any lifeguards, why are we not hearing about these lawsuits that's coming? Because we got multiple victims, according to what they're saying. They said another person got caught by a tide too. What they won't give us anybody's information, who they are, because if we start following the story, it's going to be a big nothing. It's going to be a nothing burger. It's nothing there.
There's another thing else I want to mention to you. There are times in the Caribbean that people do go swimming, and some people that are the locals, they'll go earlier in the morning. They will go when the sea is at rest, because that's when it is, and they will take their elderly parents out there that may have arthritis in the hips or the knees. I know this because we used to do this with my grandma when she retired and went back to Barbados. However, there's someone always on the beach. You got these fishermen. You have somebody. We have these cell phones now. There's no cell phone footage. There's no pictures. You mean to tell me there's no cameras? there's no indication of how he got to that beach, which lead me to believe that he ended up there. He somehow his body ended up there. I don't know how, but I don't believe that he was hurt on the beach or in the water. I believe he was placed in the water after they did something to him somewhere else. And I don't know if you saw this video of him, New Breed, but it was really eerie to me. When he was talking, it looked like he was crying, and the background was red.
I didn't see that video.
Talking. Yeah, he was over there. He was talking, and he was saying, be good to everybody, and we need to do. And I feel that was like his last rites. I believe that they had him at that point because the background is pink, his was red, and he had tears in his eyes.
I need that video, y'all. So if it's somebody in the chat, because I see somebody in the chat Catherine says, yes, I saw that video. My Instagram is newbreed404. That's the best way. Send me a link right there, and I can actually pull that up because I did not see that video.
And last but not least, what I will say to you, I had a dream because, as you know, the chosen one, we get our information through the heavenly realm, and we're given this. We don't ask for it, but we're given this. I had a dream one night, and I'm just going to share this with you because I know that you will get what I'm saying. I saw like lights lightening up, and I was like, what are all these lights? It's like you could see like you're flying in a plane and you're about to land, and you start to see like New York City, Atlanta light up, and you look down and everything is gold. Well, I saw it in Chicago, I would say. Everything was lit up golden. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. However, it was like that, and I saw the name and it said estate. And then I got it. And when I woke up, I said, wow, that's how they've been doing us. Yep. Because they're stealing from our estates generational with this music, with our talents, with everything that we have. They don't have, they have it programmed down to the 9 so that no generation of us, of ours, will get our estate. They take it, they have it, and they even have our people using us to work with them. So that's what I got, and that's what I want to leave you with. And I'm pretty sure I opened your mind up even more, my brother.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You feel free to join us anytime. Thank you. All right. Yeah, man, that's what it's all about, trying to stop our generational wealth, siphoning our energy, taking our life force, and promoting and pushing negative imagery. Because you know why? The Bible says salvation comes through the renewal of the mind. They trying to stop us from renewing our minds. That's why the psychological warfare is their number one weapon. They don't want us to renew our minds, man. It's spiritual. It's more spiritual than you know. I'm gonna check my Instagram real quick to see if anybody flew that source over. I'm gonna check that real quick. Give me a second. I believe I got it. Talk about his trauma and pain right before passing away. All right, I believe I have that. It's a red and black background. All right, I got that video for y'all, and I'm going to share that. I'm going to share that real quick. And also the link is still in the chat.
I am tired of running for.
Is this the one y'all talking about? Because I did hear this spoken word. I want Sister Magic M to let me know in the chat if this is the clip before I play it. Because I did hear this. I think I played it actually at the beginning. Yes, this is the video. Yeah, I heard this. Is he actually talking or is it spoken word? Maybe it's more to it than I heard. Same room.
Just like the music we're programmed to celebrate. What's good?
Yeah, I heard that video. Yeah, that It says he was crying with no cap on. I don't. Okay, so that's not the video. Okay, so that's not the video. He was actually crying. Somebody's gonna have to send me that. All right, I see somebody sent me a Facebook link. You know, that's why I kind of refrain from doing this midstream. Because you know, sometimes it's hard to locate these things. Now that video, okay, hold on. I think I got it. All right. He had on a white shirt and he had no cap. I see. All right, so the Facebook video y'all sent me isn't actually a video. It's a still image of him with no cap, but it is an audio. It is an audio. So hold on, let me do this real quick. This is what I was sent. He does look to have some pain on his face, but this is something y'all sent me with somebody else adding commentary for almost 20 minutes.
Easy to be. Why is he crying? Attack. So I guess they were saying that he's thanking, people or.
Yeah, I need the actual video, y'all. I need the actual video. Yeah, this is not it. This is not it. I'll give it 5 minutes. If somebody can supply that in 5 minutes, then we'll go on. But the show must go on. All right. What's up, Alonzo? What's happening, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah. I think he was a Hollywood sacrifice, this guy, Malcolm,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because remember he died with like 2 other people, like Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne, right? The Satanist. You know that guy, Ozzy Osbourne, the Satanist?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you from?
Canada.
Okay, yeah, you've been on the show before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is it a lot of news media about these 3 celebrity deaths out there in Canada?
Oh no, they just showed Ozzy Osbourne because he has a big following. But I'm curious why they didn't show the Malcom Jamal Warner, because he was talking about the industry, right? How it's like toxic stuff like that, and yet they don't speak on him because he's exposing it, right?
Yeah.
But Ozzy Osbourne, since he's a Satanist, they just let him free, right?
Right. They're not. So basically, they're not even talking about Malcom Jamal Warner in Canada. Huh?
Yeah, I'm surprised because he was like a good actor, no criminal history. But that Ozzy Osbourne guy is bothering me because he's a Satanist, right? He has all this clothing and shit, and it's just so bothering. They even had a tribute for him, like so weird, just strange,
Absolutely. Well, hey, they're calling Ozzy Osbourne a god, even though he's with the devil right now. He wanted to be the Prince of Darkness. Now he gets to meet the Prince of Darkness. So, yeah, but that's what they do in our country. They'll, instead of giving real media coverage worldwide on Malcom Jamal Warner, they want to give a Satan worshiping bat head biter all of the publication. And that's what I have an issue with. You got all of these people and that want us to mourn over Satan worshiping and a racist. Meanwhile, the message that Malcom Jamal Warner was bringing was transcendent. It's just a shame.
True. Yeah, true, because Ozzy Osbourne, he had like a lot of connections with Hollywood. He was making like satanic music. You can even see in the clothing shops here. It's like all because of him, like all this rock star clothing stuff like that.
Right. No, absolutely.
Yeah, I think they want to influence from him, not from the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. They want us to deflect. You know what I'm saying? So they pick they picked two celebrities who were already about to kick the bucket, and they just got rid of them. But it is what it is, man. Thank you, brother. Feel free to join anytime.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. Peace.
Yeah. Peace.
All right. So I couldn't find that source, but nonetheless, I think that we covered all bases. It's been a phenomenal broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to share. I want y'all to get on newbreedglobaltruth.com. Matter of fact, we're going to play this one more time for the one time because, listen, it shows you what the image reclamation shirts look like. Y'all go ahead and cop. You know what I'm saying? Go over there and represent our lineage. We got the FBA NFS shirts. We got all kind of, just very nice, high quality gear, clothing over there, right? Support the brand is how you support the movement. You understand? So we're going to play this one more time. Let's go. They working against us. They hate our souls. They hate us. They hate our righteous indignation. They hate the exhortation that dwells in us. They hate our love for the They hate our conviction. They hate the fact that we repented. They hate the fact that we're truthful, honest, and bold. They hate our courage. Them devils hate us. We're not finna line ourselves up with these weirdos and freaks, with these weirdos and freaks. They working against us. They hate our souls. Weirdos and freaks. But these weirdos and freaks, they working against us. They hate our souls. New breed.